Hey guys, welcome to my top 5 most disappointing movies of 2023. Now, don't get me wrong, before I get into this list, not all these movies are bad. They're just something I probably expected a little bit more from.
I'm very disappointed.
Although, some people may think these are absolutely awful movies, and I can't speak too highly for some of them, but they're not my worst movies of the year, put it that way. And if you want to see my worst movies of the year and stuff, I think I'm going to be doing a full ranking from worst to best, so look out for that video. But I'm also doing a top 10 movies of 2023, top 10 most anticipated movies of 2023. So I'm going to leave my lists down below, the playlist for all my lists, so look out for that. So before I get into it, don't forget to leave your top 5, 10 most disappointing horror movies of the year down below, and we'll get a bit of discussion going. So let's just get into it now with 5th place. So in 5th place, we do have Megan. Now, I do have another channel called Movie Worm. I'll leave the link for that down below, but I'm just doing all my horror-related content on this channel. And last year, I put my top 10 most anticipated movies on that list, and Megan was actually in it because I do love a good movie about a killer doll. Chucky is one of my favourite franchises out there. I just think it's a really cool concept, and to see modern technology used with this Megan character and the way she was moving and stuff in the trailers, I thought that looked really cool. And Megan is quite a good character, a very sinister character who has a mind of its own, trying to take over, this girl's basically the whole trust of her, and there are characters starting to die around this girl who owns this Megan character. Now, it is an okay movie, don't get me wrong, but I just expected a little bit more from it. The movie takes a very long time to get going, and it just isn't exactly as good as the Chucky movies. I think that's a fair comparison because it's a kid who gets a doll. I just think it felt very tame at times, and when it wanted to go for the gore, it wouldn't quite get there. Some of the kills are off screen and stuff like that. I've heard they brought a more violent version out, which I haven't checked, but apparently it's not all that much more anyway. It kind of feels like it's going for the PG-13 rating of things, really, and doesn't want to go too sinister. There was also a character here, like the aunt of this movie, who'd lost her sister, and there was just no emotion on her face whatsoever. She didn't look like she just lost her sister. All she cared about was her work and stuff like that. And I've got to say, one moment that made me cringe was when Megan was singing Bulletproof to the young girl in this movie. I was like, oh no, please stop. So, again, it just felt a little bit too flat. There was nothing totally new on offer here, and just all felt very generic. I was expecting some super duper gore and stuff like that, but it doesn't quite do that. And I'm supposed there's going to be a Megan 2 and stuff in future, because I think this movie was quite successful, so we'll see. But I just wanted a little bit more from Megan, so that is in 5th place. Number 4 is going to be Insidious The Red Door, and I was mainly looking forward to this because it was Patrick Wilson's directional debut. And this is a franchise he knows inside out. So I thought, you know what, he's going to breathe new life into this franchise. I did love Insidious 3. Lee Wanell done a great job of that. But The Last Key was really of a downgrade. And Insidious 2 wasn't that good either, in my opinion. So I thought, can Patrick Wilson bring this to life? And apart from some real cool directional moments, one of them in an MRI scanner and the other one in a cemetery where characters are kind of appearing behind them, but there's no sound. I think that's what he does best with this movie. It's kind of, there aren't all these sound effects to make you jump. It relies on silence at times. The story just felt like we'd seen it all before, really. It's rehashing the original movie because Patrick Wilson and his son have kind of had their memories wiped so they can sort of get along in life, and they keep getting these flashbacks of what happened when they were younger, and they go and discover the further again. But I'm just sitting there thinking, we've already seen the further in the first movie, how they discovered it, and we're just going back to that. And I really couldn't take any liking to Patrick Wilson's son's character in this movie. I'm really sorry I forgot the kid's name. It'll come to me after this video. but he just really looked angry all the time, and he was the main character of the movie, and I just couldn't get behind him at all, really. Luckily, his roommate was a really fun character who kind of breathed a bit of life into the screen when them two were on screen together. But yeah, it just didn't really bring anything new to the Insidious franchise to me, and instead of where the last key brought it there, instead of going up, it kind of stays there and felt again generic. So in fourth place is Insidious The Red Door. Number 3 is going to be Beardbox Barcelona. I really enjoyed the first Beardbox, and this is more of a spin-off instead of an entire sequel, really. And I thought, you know what, this is a great idea at the start of the movie where the main character was actually an antagonist, the bad guy we're following. I thought that was a really cool shake-up. And he's trying to get all these characters to look at this damn thing and kill themselves and stuff. He's one of them characters from the first movie who's kind of working with this thing that's out there in the world. And after about 20-30 minutes of some cool kill scenes and stuff like that, the movie just really went into a bore fest and became very complex. I was like, what the hell is even going on here? It tries to become over ambitious, and the antagonist, the character, was cool for a bit, but then he just started to be an unlikable character, and all the other characters weren't doing any favors for him either, being on screen, and it just felt like a slog to get through. It was nowhere near on the same level as the first movie. And the abrupt ending, I was like, really? Oh my god, that was a chore to get through. So, unfortunately, it falls down that Netflix nothing movie path that isn't memorable at all. And I wanted so much more from this movie, but unfortunately, it wasn't to be. A great original film followed by a very dull sequel slash spin-off. That is Beardbox Barcelona. Coming in second place is going to be Pet Sematary Bloodlines. This kind of got announced in the middle of the year. And as a bit of a fan of the first movie, a movie that I've watched quite a few times, I was kind of like, oh yeah, I'm up for a new Pet Sematary film. And I watched the remake leading up to this. In fact, I watched all 3 Pet Sematary films. But this is a prequel to the remake. And I watched the remake leading up to this. I didn't like that movie on the cinema first time. But on rewatch, it really grew on me. And I was like, wow, I didn't realise this was that good of a film, really. And it got me even more hyped for the prequel. And this follows Jug Crandall when he's younger, and the story of Timmy Bateman, who comes to the town, and he's the first person to be buried at this cemetery and wreak havoc upon the town. And I thought, that could be a good concept. Let's see how it plays out. Unfortunately, the main guy who plays Jug Crandall didn't really bring anything to the character. It was just a very bland personality. And Jug Crandall is one of the more standout characters, especially in the original movie. But here, you wouldn't even know it was him. It's just this guy. The movie doesn't really do anything. It's all very vanilla. And the best moments were Timmy Bateman unleashing a bit of havoc, but it doesn't really happen all that much. I mean, you're just following Jug Crandall around with his girlfriend, and they're trying to get out of town, but something's keeping him there because he's got to deal with this problem. Kind of seen that concept done a million times, but we already know what's going to happen. We already know the Timmy Bateman story. We already know the fate of Judd, that he stays in the town. So we kind of know what's going to happen at the end, how it's going to turn out. And that for me just didn't really bring anything new to the franchise. And in the original movie, Jug Crandall tells the story of this in 5 minutes, and it's way more creepier, way more interesting than this 90-minute runtime. So it just felt very bland, and like I said, a very vanilla prequel. So in second place is Pet Sematary Bloodlines. Number 1, though, is going to be The Exorcist Believer. Now, I must admit, I wasn't super hyped for this movie, but I thought there must be something up their sleeve. They've got a trilogy planned, and I really enjoyed David Gordon Green's Halloween 2018 and David Gordon Green's Halloween Ends. Yes, I'm one of them few people who actually liked Halloween Ends. Kills, I'm not so fussed on. It's okay. So, but when they announced that Ellen Burstyn was coming back here, I was like, holy shit, there must be something here. And I kind of started to get a little bit excited when the movie was coming out. I rewatched the original leading up to this, and I seen its true genius. Really, it's a film that's grown on me over the years. But this time I watched it, I thought, yeah, that is a great film. And I was interested to see what he was going to do with this legacy sequel. But unfortunately, this goes down the very generic, seen it all before subgenre in demonic possession. It doesn't feel like an Exorcist sequel. Ellen Burstyn is given minimal screen time, and then after the movie, I found out she only came into it because they doubled her salary and she was going to give it to this charity that she works with, so she didn't want to be there anyway. They give her a full disservice to the character. She's one of the best. I think she is the best actress in the original film, to be honest. But here, they just kind of... she's just throwaway. I mean, she's just... there's no point in her being in this movie whatsoever. It was an okay setup with two girls being possessed, I suppose, and sort of working in sync. But it just falls down a very generic path. It doesn't even feel like the same demon from the first movie. I don't even know if it's meant to be. I can't, I think the main protagonist is Leslie Obick Jr. I think Leslie Obick Jr. If I'm pronouncing that wrong, I'll put the real name on the screen now. He was the best thing about the film. He was a character I could get behind. I felt his pain because he just wanted his daughter to be okay, especially after she's gone missing 3 days and coming back and acting all strange. As a father now, you see his side of things. And he you know what? You could tell this guy can act. I hope he's given better roles in future than this. But he was the best thing about the movie, the biggest positive. But other characters around him just weren't doing anything. There's a third act where all these different people are coming in the room where these possessed girls are, and it was so cringeworthy to watch. The jump scares are the most generic jump scares you've ever seen. The movie is not scary whatsoever. A legacy sequel to the scariest movie ever made for some people turned into this generic movie that isn't scary whatsoever. It was a huge disappointment, and David Gordon Green, I don't know if he's going to be doing the second one, if there is even going to be a second one, because this was a huge bomb at the box office. Just such a unmemorable film. I just can't bring myself to revisit this. I probably will if they make a sequel, and I'll go and watch it again before that one comes out for the purposes of this channel. But my God, it was a long one to get through. I mean, I like tension building in movies. I like story building, but this one seemed to take forever to get there. So unfortunately, my biggest disappointing horror movie of 2023 is The Exorcist Believer. Okay guys, hope you all enjoyed this video. What do you think of my list? What are your most disappointing horror movies of the years? The Exorcist Believer, one of yours? I've heard a few people say they love the movie, so fair enough. So don't forget to leave a comment down below. I'll try and get back to you all, I promise. Please give this video a like and subscribe if horror is your sort of thing. Thanks so much everyone. You take care, and I'll see you on the next video.